Mayhem could break loose at any given moment, whether that be in an organization or really anywhere situations arise. And that is where leaders come into play. Leaders are there to guide the members who don't really know what to do in a situation. And so, with that being said, I interviewed a great leader, and her name is Caitlin Ewing. Caitlin Ewing, through her responses, I noticed that there were three aspects of the RML model that became very, very much evident. And that was purpose, that was empowerment, purpose, and inclusion. And throughout the interview process, I picked up on a little bit of insight that she was offering. So who is Caitlin Ewing? Caitlin Ewing is from Greensburg, Indiana. And through this interview process, Caitlin is involved in many different organizations around campus. But through this interview process, we were just focusing down on Ball State Dance Marathon. Now, back in high school, Caitlin didn't know what dance marathon was, but until she got to college. And so her freshman year, she was just a dancer in the dance marathon. And so what that is you just raise $100 and stay for the whole 13.1 hours. And then her sophomore year, that is where she wanted to pick up a little bit more responsibility within the organization. And so with that, she became a committee member, more specifically in the morale committee. And what morale does is they keep everyone entertained the whole time. They the whole 13.1 hours, which Caitlin stated was a pretty difficult thing to do. And then her junior year, she did exactly that same thing. She was a committee member on morale. And then her senior year, that's where she became the true leader of the Ball State Dance Marathon. She became the co-director of morale, jumping up on the exec board of Ball State Dance Marathon. Now, like I said, through this interview process, there were three aspects of the RML model that became very evident. That was empowerment, purpose, and inclusion. Now, with empowerment, Alex Romazer wrote in his senior thesis in 2016, which was reviewed by Laura O'Hare. He explains that Ball State Dance Marathon is the biggest philanthropy on campus, and there are many people that put their all into it. But more specifically, he states that Ball State Dance Marathon becomes one's identity, and Caitlin couldn't agree with that anymore. So I asked Caitlin, I go, what kind of environment do you like to set for your committee members? And right off the bat, she stated encouragement. She likes to encourage her committee members to do what they are doing or do what they plan to set their minds to do. And so according to Xiaomeng Zhang and Catherine Bartol in 2010 in the Academy of Management Journal, they wrote that empowering involves sharing power. And so Caitlin really mirrors that statement. She likes to share her power by going around and just letting everyone know that she's human too, and that they're just all trying to work on the same project. It's also, Ball State Dance Marathon is all about raising money. So I asked her, is it difficult to raise money? And she explained in an extensive response that she's a role model leader. So she won't ask her members to do really anything that she personally wouldn't do herself. And so with that being said, there's a purpose behind Ball State Dance Marathon. And so I asked Caitlin, I go, how do you communicate your vision to really your members? And she explains that she really likes to show the differences that occur throughout the timeline. So 1 month, or say they meet up 1 month and then they meet up a month later. She really likes to show the differences that occur in that month just to get everyone knowing the progress that they're all making. So according to Simon Black in 2015 in the Journal of Society and Conservation Biology, he explains that direction is important, yet understanding the underlying reason is paramount. And so then, with that being said, I asked Caitlin, I go, how do you create a vision for people on campus who really aren't involved in Ball State Dance Marathon? And so she stated that, she's happy to really go around and let people know the good that the money that is being raised, what it's being used for. And so, talking about people off campus, let's focus now on her being a leader in the committee and getting everyone involved, and that is where her inclusion comes in. So I asked her, how do you examine activity that could really block participation within your committee meetings? And she said she's really good at reading nonverbals, and she also kind of went off tangent a little bit, saying that it's slightly a weakness. But she said if somebody is, if they look like they're not really involved or getting a lot out of the meeting, she will go up to them and try and communicate with them and try and ask questions to get them talking. And then I asked her, why is understanding everyone important to you? And so she gave us a little laugh by saying her idea is best only sometimes. And so we had a good laugh right there. But she understands that just because she's leader doesn't mean she's the smartest person in the room. So she tries to get everybody's ideas. And so Christian Stanlander, really, I think he would agree with Caitlin by saying in his 2012 Family Practice Management Journal, he explains that it is amazing to give the opportunity to engage everyone and offer positive feedback to any contribution that is given to the conversation. So that was really the insight from the RML model, but throughout the interview, I noticed that Caitlin was explaining that connections is such an amazing aspect of life. She says connections is great. Connections go with you throughout life. It's the relationships that really help you. And so I think as a leader, she says she likes to make connections with her members as well as members of other organizations. So today we covered my interview with Caitlin Ewing, a Ball State senior who leads Ball State Dance Marathon Committee of Morale. And through her leadership, she empowers those around her. She makes it known the purpose of the organization, and she's inclusive, getting everyone involved, as well as letting me know that connections is a very important tool in life. And through listening to this, I hope this will help you become a better leader. Thanks.